What's up, Cade? How are you doing today?
I'm good, Drew. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. I live in the dream. LIVIN in the words of Matthew McConaughey. So
Yes, sir. It's been a good week, dude, and it's crazy. It's already May. Can you believe that?
blows my mind. Like the fact that we're in the fifth month, we're almost halfway through the year, and this year feels like it just started. Absolutely insane.
Like we're halfway through quarter two already, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that nuts?
It- it's crazy. It's
Well, because
absolutely.
yeah, 1 week from today will be the midway point of Q2. That's crazy. That's crazy.
If that don't put a fire up your butt, I don't know what will.
Literally, it's like go time. It is now like make a move, go time. So,
Crazy,
but sweet
dude.
man. So what's new in your world? Anything crazy going on in the world of real estate? Thing going on wild in your life?
Dude, nothing much both ways. I actually was just reading an article this morning from Lawrence Yun. He's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. He's
Okay.
basically just a really big data nerd. That's all he does all day. And he's saying that it's practically impossible for home sales to remain as low as they have the past couple of years. So he's expecting real estate just simply due to the fact of um, the amount of people that have been born in the US for the past decades. Like it's impossible, when you look at the amount of people that have been born um, for home sales to decline. And so that was an interesting article. That's not what I'm really going to be talking about at all today. It's just kind of interesting. He pointed out that there are 70 million more Americans today than in 1995. And so because of
Hmm.
that, housing needs to increase. So that's an interesting take, and albeit I honestly agree with it. I haven't done the research for myself like super intensely, um, but that's something I've always like was curious about, and I'm like, how can we still keep building homes? Like it doesn't make sense in my mind, but we are. I was talking to a nurse friend of mine, and she says on like a slow day in the baby delivery room, they probably have 5 babies delivered per shift. That's not a day, that's just per shift in one hospital, in one area of the hospital, one shift in one hospital in one city in the whole United States. So think about how many are being born every single, like it's crazy. It's just
That
like
is insane.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's got to grow. And so I kind of agree with it, but that was just an interesting thing. Um, I am going to quickly just kind of go over Pima County and market summary for April. And all I'm really going to hit on is kind of the average sales price, which right now in Pima County is coming in at $370,000. The absorption rate is coming in at a 3.21 month supply, which suggests that we're in a really good seller's market still, and it is going down from what it looks like. So next month could very well be lower and even potentially below the 3 mark. So 2 month supply for a whole county is pretty low, which is good for sellers. And
Absolutely.
days on market, we see a decrease of about 2.5 days from 52.4 from March down to 50 days to April. So it was an average of 50 days on market for any home. So overall, we're still seeing a pretty strong seller's market overall in the whole county. And again, I just want to reiterate that every single suburban area or your own community or city could be, different. But this is just a look at the vast Southern Arizona real estate. So call to action would be to, if you're an agent, please make sure your clients and prospects know this, whether they're buying or selling a home, how they're positioned in the market, because the month supply is a great metric to understand whether or not you're in a buyer seller's market. And I just was having a conversation today with one of our guys who was like, yeah, I'm gonna wait for, a seller's market before I decide to sell. And I'm like, buddy, you've been in a seller's market for like the past 3 freaking years, even longer than that. And so he's like, oh, really? Absorption rate? I'm like, yeah, go look it up and then call me back. So anyway, just people don't know because they're not in real estate like we are, or they're not in finance like you are, or they're not in plumbing like maybe you are. So you have to understand when you're talking to your prospects or you're talking to clients, like dumb it down, ask questions, and really try to understand, do you know like how you're positioned right now? And inform them, educate them, because I guarantee you they don't know. Because they're not looking at that stuff every day. So anyway, how about you, Drew?
Absolutely. Well, and I to hit on one point, I agree. Like I especially think like sellers market, people don't even know really what that means. They just hear it on the news and I can easily assume that it says, hey, buyers are going off the wall, buying, 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 buying. So I'm going to wait until it's a seller's market where we're more in control. And they don't realize that it's actually the inverse because they don't think, when there's a bunch of buyers, that means it's a seller market because they're the ones in control, opposed to when there's a seller's market, there are few buyers. So sellers are competing against themselves to close those deals.
Right.
So it's very funny to me how it works, but it's true. Like people who aren't in those fields don't necessarily know. So interesting take, and I appreciate that. I definitely think it's
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, for my update's actually going to be non-traditional at all. I wanted to update everyone and let everyone know that I am no longer with Empower Financial Group. I decided to make a change, and now I am with JP Morgan. I'm a private client advisor. So the key point and reason to my conversation today is just finding a true mentor, because as I'm sure you all can imagine, and you, Cade, yourself, can imagine, having the conversation of I found another opportunity can be a difficult one to definitely have. Trying to navigate those waters and not upset people, but also do what's in the best interest of yourself is a conversation that you have to have, but it's not an easy one. And so I think my key call to action today is really surround yourself with A, quality people, and B, good mentors. And when I say good mentors, I really mean good mentors, because I have the luckiness of having a tremendous mentor, actually two of them, the old owners of Empower Financial Group, so Guy Welsh and Stephanie Kidder. Through this transition process, they have been so, so understanding and there for me, answering any questions, making sure that everything is done correctly, taking over my clients at New York Life so they stay there, and just making sure that the transition process was pretty seamless, and helped guiding me through. I mean, it wasn't a decision that I made by myself, that's for sure. I consulted a lot of different people. I think you and I talked about it, Kate, a couple times, and I discussed with the people who are really close to me. And in that conversation, one of the key concepts that Guy and Kidder had both said one time when I brought it to their attention that I was looking at other opportunities, and then when I actually brought it to their attention that I had taken one, is they both had said in their own ways that they're coaches. And they grew up being coaches, and so they understand that from a mentor perspective, it doesn't necessarily matter how or who you work with. It matters the success of the people that you're mentoring. And so basically in a nutshell, they said to me, we're excited that you have this opportunity, because though you can't succeed with us, or you could succeed with us, but though you're choosing to go another way, we know you're going to succeed over there. And so I did want to say that, I want to address it in the fact of there's no bad blood, no negativity, all positive vibes. But finding those mentors, those people who you can even have the most difficult conversations with, like leaving your firm, is super duper important to surround yourself with. And I'm super grateful with those people, because I know that they'll have my back no matter what. They'll always be there to look for me, and they can see beyond the selfishness, the scope of their self. They can see at what I was feeling, and the decision that I had to make, and realize that it was probably the right decision for me to move. So
Well, dude, I just want to encourage you that and everyone watching, that they're, and Drew, we talked about this where it's like, just because you make a transition doesn't mean that you're switching up your whole like destiny, if you want to call it, or your goals, like just because you transition into something different. And I think people could take and twist, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Because they almost misinterpret a transition to like they're thinking it's a massive like 180 switch, and it's not. It's just a transition into something new that long term is going to benefit you, right? Because like, speak for yourself, but it's like that time you spent at Empower Financial, you probably learned a freaking ton. That's going to help you now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I just want to encourage you. Like, you're doing amazing. You're doing awesome.
Thank
You're
you.
doing great things. And,
Thank you.
yeah, you definitely have the people behind you and the network and the work ethic, everything. I mean, everything you've done up until this point to be successful, because you already are, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I agree. I think it's just when you look at those positions and it's specifically like, my title didn't change. What I have the capability of doing didn't change. My focus is just more niched, right? I'm more focused on one aspect rather than focusing on all of these different things and trying to do everything for everyone. I'm more
Yeah.
hyper focused on the one thing that I'm really, really good at. It'd be, like real estate. If you're going to, rather than, jumping around from brokerage to brokerage to try to figure out where you're best in the commercial space or just focusing on the commercial space and then finding the place that gives you the best opportunity to focus there is kind of in a similar way that's the transition that I made. So I agree. People will often judge and look at you and say, oh, you 180 180 180, but yeah, in reality, no, I just I dug an inch wide and a mile deep opposed to
Yeah,
a mile wide and an inch deep. So
exactly. Which is typically like the people who are ultra successful, make a ton of money, and long term have a great like reputation and career are usually those types of people, right? They niche down into one thing, they get extremely good and become the best at it, really. So for the average consumer, right? They're like, why would I use anyone else? Like there is no one better, you know?
mhm, exactly. So what is it? Niches build riches. Is that what it is? Or
Oh,
niches make riches, something like that.
oh yeah, I've never heard that. That's funny. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So, well, cool. Well, speaking of all of that, and if you have any questions about my transition or more information about what the market's doing, and if we're in a seller's or buyer's market, you can meet Cade and I at our networking event. Our next one is going to be May 31st. And I'm super stoked because we have the luckiness to hear from Dan Tolome, I think is how you say his last name, but he is more formally known on YouTube as Dan the Fireman. He runs a very successful YouTube channel, and he's going to be talking about building basically content marketing, building your name, building your brand, but just how to actually create videos and build up from nothing. And he was able to turn a channel with 0 subscribers to over 600,000 in a relatively short period of time, which is pretty impressive.
That's
So very
amazing.
excited to hear from him.
I'm so excited, dude. I
Yeah.
I love the business, I love the sales, I love all that, but I mean, let's be honest, I think everyone our age, because they grew up, with internet, with YouTube, and that they do understand the value. So when you do have uh, a subscriber base that large,
Yeah.
it's very like intriguing. It's freaking awesome.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see what he has to share and how we could implement some of that into what we do, in our business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you have any questions for us, for him, May 31st at the Sands Club, 5:30 to 8:30, the usual. There's going to be some charcuterie board, some snacks, some waters. You can buy drinks at the bar. It's going to be a really good time. And I'm super stoked to hear from him. But but yeah, and we always like to end on a positive quote. And I think we both found the same quote at the same time. Do you still have that pulled up, Cade?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
So a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you.
Mm, mm.
Bob
Bob
Proctor.
Proctor.
What did
Jeez.
you?
What a G. Uh, yeah, that's a good quote. What does that quote mean to you?
Dude, it means a lot. I mean, I've had, and because we're kind of a business channel and business focused, your mind immediately goes to business. But dude, I've had so many mentors in my life. You know what I mean? My parents, dude, like if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't even be in real estate. Like I wanted to give up a long time ago. My mom, she's like, nah, you're not quitting, you know? So like that's one example. Like, but there's so many, like my family, just spiritually, like in my church, like spiritual coaches. Right now, Kai and I are doing premarital counseling, so like we have spiritual and mentors there. It's just like I don't know what I do without mentors, to be honest with you. I think I would suck as a human. I honestly, bro, like
I
I
agree.
I would suck. I would be nowhere near where I am right now. So I think it's everything. You are who you hang around, right? And if it's like if you are taking time out of your life to seek mentorship from someone, you best hope that someone is in a position you want to be in a really good spot because that's who you will become. So
Mhm.
I think it's everything. And then to have people who believe in you, when maybe sometimes you don't even believe in yourself, I think is huge.
I
But
agree.
what about you? What does it mean to you?
I would honestly reflect everything that you said, and you brought up a good point because my mind instantly went to business, probably just the situation that I'm in right now. But I 1,000% agree. I mean, even having mentors in the form of friendships, right? Understanding what a good friend looks like, having those strong connections, but then also having strong, familial mentors as well, and faith-based mentors as well, and then business mentors. I mean, they all guide you. And I think you look at it from the perspective of, you should learn everything you possibly can from them because they are 3 steps ahead of you and they've already made the mistakes that you're going to make unless you
Yeah.
learn from them. Right.
Yes.
But it's always about like, I look at it from a playing field, right? And when you can truly leverage and learn from a playing field of where you are, let's say that you, Cade, want to be the best multifamily are the biggest multifamily homeowner here in town, right? You want to have that title. If you were just working with a bunch of residential sales and no, your mentor were people in residential sales, you wouldn't understand the systems, the things that you need to do, how to underwrite a deal, multifamily syndication. You wouldn't understand all of the baseline, basic understandings of multifamily real estate. But if you can mentor with or learn from someone who has established those relationships, has established those systems and those processes, you can be at an equal playing field, but hopefully 20 or 30 years younger. And then you can
Yeah.
expand on those. And you've now left up, maybe not in the sense of assets owned, but in the sense of knowledge and understanding. And you can leap far beyond them because you're starting at the same level they are, just several years behind.
Yeah. No, I
So,
think I think it's absolutely beautiful.
yeah.
I truly think if you are a young entrepreneur, business person, like whatever it is, even if you're not, like if you're just a regular person, you need a mentor. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've had so many conversations in my life, and honestly, I just thank God that for some whatever reason I had like the mentality coming out of school to like seek out mentorship and ask questions. But yeah, I mean, it's where would you be without them? I mean, I would be nowhere near where I am right now. And of course, there's always opportunity to grow, but you can, like you said, Drew, you can quicken that process simply by having a relationship with people who have done it, that you don't have to make those same mistakes. So, as an example for NGRN for our next meeting, like, dude, Dan the fireman freaking created a 600,000 subscriber YouTube channel. Like,
Mhm.
why would you not come and ask him about YouTube if that's what you're trying to grow? You
Mhm.
know? Hey
Exactly.
Dan, can you take a look at my channel real quick? Tell me, you know, what you think it needs help with. Like, what do you recommend? You know, like he is the most freaking optimal person to talk to.
Mhm.
And it'd be
Mhm.
stupid to sit there and try to like figure it out on your own when he's standing right there and you can just ask him and he could give it to you for free. That's why I love
Mhm.
these meetups. That's why I love this community. Like there's so many people and mentors that you can touch base with to quicken that process so you're not on your own, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing I want to end on, because I think that you brought up a good point, is like, here's the thing about successful people. Successful people want to help you. Now, if you go and you ask them a bunch of questions and you don't actually do what they suggest, you're going to be a time waster and they aren't going to help you. But if you show interest and passion and you really want to learn, you're hungry and you actually do what they suggest, successful people want to help other ambitious people become successful. So these meetups are great because it's my network, it's Cade's network, it's our member base's networks, and we're all meeting together as hungry entrepreneurs that want to be successful. And we're learning from some of the best in their fields. And so, you can build all of your aspects by piecing together. If you have a content marketing component to your business, you have Dan now in your back pocket that you can reach out to. If you want to own a restaurant chain, a few months ago we had Grant here. You could have talked to him. There's a lot of different ways that we can segment our yourself and reach out and connect with those mentors. But yeah, taking advantage of something that's free and not that much of a and a fairly comfortable, like, it's not an uncomfortable situation to be in, where I feel
No.
like we're a fairly comfortable group of people. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean, we've had people from the club just show up and be like, "Hey, what is this?" And we're like, "Oh, we're NGRN. Just like come on in." And then they
yeah.
just come in and hang out, and it's like we don't know who they are, but who cares? I
Mhm.
mean, we're just hanging out, learning, meeting people, and it's a good time. It really is. I enjoy it. I enjoy every meetup.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, cool. Well, again, May 31st, 5:30, 8:30, Sands Club. Hope to see you there. And if you have any questions, Cade's and my info will be linked in the bio or the description below. And feel free to give us a shout.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Awesome, Cade. All right, dude. I will see you next week.
See you later.
Peace.